Okay, good evening to you all. And today is 26th day of August 2024. And we are going to hold this webinar, which I titled Critical Thinking and Problem Solving Skills for Students and Fresh Graduates. So the webinar was slated uh, earlier before on 25th, which we rescheduled it to today. So I'm sorry for the inconveniences. And like always, I started my uh, webinar with outlines. That is what we are going to cover during the webinar, so that you will understand what we're going to discuss about. You will have a highlight of it, and you'll also know what to expect uh, uh, in the webinar or during the webinar. So I'm going to list the outlines that we are going to cover tonight. So we are going to talk about the webinar. Of course, I'm going to talk about the webinar itself so that you'll know why you are here and what to expect at the end of the webinar. We'll talk about that. And we are going to talk about why you should have these skills, why you should have these two skills that we titled the webinar with. That is critical thinking and problem solving. They are two distinctive skills. So we are going to discuss about why you should have these two skills. We'll talk about that. And also, we'll start with critical thinking. So we'll talk about thinking. You'll understand what critical thinking is all about. Then we'll talk about how to become a critical thinker, levels of critical thinking. That is the levels you are going to follow for you to become a critical thinker. And again, after that, we're going to talk about problem solving. That's where you're going to understand what problem solving is all about. And we are going to talk about how to become a problem solver. So, like how to become a critical thinker, we'll also talk how to become a problem solver. And also, we are going to talk about uh, levels of problem solving. Then we'll have a best practices, which I'll talk about best practices for you. And lastly, we are going to talk about, we are going to have question and answer. If you have any question, you're going to ask your question. And also we have a conclusion after that. So let's start. Since you I've already taken you through the outlines. We have about 11 of them. So here it is. So let's start with the first in the line, which is about the webinar. So let's talk about that. But before that, I have something to tell you. It's just a quote. Yeah, sometimes I used to start a webinar with quotation, but I stopped doing that for a while. But today I say, let me start with this. It's just from Martin Luther Jr. He said that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. The complete education gives one not only power of concentration, but worthy objectives upon which to concentrate. So please, reflect on this. If you like, you can screenshot it. If you like, you can save it, screenshot on it, because it's something, it's just a powerful statement made by him, which I believe it has everything to do with what we are going to cover today. Okay, so after saying that, let's talk about the webinar. So we are going to have an overview of the webinar, what to expect at the end of the webinar. So this webinar is a free webinar, as you can see, and it's a live webinar, which purposely the topic was given to me by someone that he said that is good for us to discuss about this for students and fresh graduates. I don't even know the name of the person. I never met the person, but when he bring it up, I just believe that yes, it's something that I need to talk about, especially for students and for fresh graduates to have these skills, because they are soft skills. They are the skills that someone's supposed to have in him. So It's like inherent skills that you need, even as a student or as a graduate. When you have such skills, then you are thinking, your level of IQ, your level of, intelligence, your faculty of reasoning will be quite different from, someone who doesn't possess these skills. So we are going to talk about these skills intensively, and I'm going to take you through the levels that you need to follow for you to have these skills and for you to apply these skills, so that whatever profession you are into or whatever profession you need to delve in, you will have these skills will serve as, something that will help you, something that will assist you to explore and to uh, you know uh, uh, something that will take you to the promised land within the profession. So that's what we are going to discuss, and that's what all this webinar is all about. So I said fresh graduate, even if you are not a fresh graduate, you need these skills, because these skills will help you to think deeply and will help you to, try to find solution and to create solution for any problem, because there are lots of problems. We already know that. So we need critical thinkers that will bring solution to such problems. So let's talk about that. So after saying this, I believe you already understand about the webinar, you understand your take home, what to expect at the end of it. So this is it. So let's continue and let's move to the next line of item that we have. So why you should have these skills? You need these skills because these two skills, critical thinking and problem solving, will help you to, they will improve flexibility and learning skills. That's what it will help you to get. They will improve your learning skills, and they will improve your flexibility. That flexibility that will improve it. For example, you can find someone that is working as he's a medical doctor, but because he's a critical thinker, he found himself maybe working as engineer, or he found himself working, solving a solution that has nothing to do with medical doctor, or something that is related to his profession, but it's wider than his profession. So it's something that will boost your flexibility, and it will kind of improves your learning skills. So when you have these critical thinking and problem solving skills in you, like I said before, your faculty of reasoning differs from anybody that didn't possess or that didn't have such skills in him. So you will be quite different from a lot of people. The way you reason, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you, expect things to happen. A lot of people will feel that you are a future teller, you are a this, you are that. You are not that. It's just because your, level of understanding and level of thinking has already changed. So that's what it will improve. That's number one thing. And also these two skills will also help you in reflecting on your learning experiences critically. So this is something that you see, as you, like I said, as you are a medical doctor, you are in any profession, you can name it, whatever it is. These skills will help you to reflect on such learning or such experience that you have critically. So if you are a student of Hausa, or you are a student of biology, you are a student of engineering, whatever you studied, if you possess these skills, it will help you to figure out problems within such skills, and you will critically find solution to such problems. And that's what it's always expected to a student of knowledge and to a graduate after his graduation. So this is another reason why you should have these skills, because they will help you to reflect on your learning experiences critically and also make effective decisions. So it's not only to think, it's not only to figure about the problems, you are going to also bring the solution to such identified problems. So even if you bring out the problems, these skills will also help you to know how to, suggest a solution, how to bring an effective decision or solution to such problems. So this is another thing that, another reason why you should have these skills in you. So another thing, again, why you should have these skills is you will have the ability to take apart facts from opinionated facts. This is something that whenever there are opinions about a lot of things, or there are sayings about different things, you can have the ability to segregate it or to make it into different parts and to understand it differently. Because when somebody says something, when you have that critical thinking and problem solving skills, when someone says something, you can digest it, diagnose it, and bring a lot of things out of it. So the way you see what people are saying or what people are doing is different from the way other people are seeing it. So even if it is on opinion of somebody, the way you'll understand it, the way you will put it in different segregation is quite different from other people that doesn't have the skills. So again, you also have the ability to learn more skills, such as creativity, collaboration, and cooperations. All these are other skills that this critical thinking and problem solving will help you to learn how to do such. Because there are certain problems that when you identify them, when you identify the solution again, you'll understand that you cannot solve such problems on your own. So this critical thinking and problem solving skills will give you the ability to learn how to collaborate with other people. It will also help you to learn how to become creative. You'll be a very creative person because when you have these skills, you'll start thinking, like I said, when you start thinking of ideas, you start thinking of problems, you start thinking of solutions. It will give you such skills, and also cooperative skills is part of the reasons why you should have these skills. And also another thing that this why you should have these two skills, the last one is the skills encourages the practice of reasoning, whether inductive or deductive reasoning. It encourages that. So this is something that when you have these skills, you have that reasoning skills, you'll be thinking out of the box. You will be deducting a lot of sayings based on general statement from such sayings. So these are the 5 reasons why you should have this critical thinking and problem solving skills as a student and also as a fresh graduate. So again, after saying this, let's talk about critical thinking. Now we've been saying critical thinking, critical thinking. Let's talk about critical thinking. What is critical thinking? Or let's understand what critical thinking is all about. So critical thinking can be seen as to be a mode of reasoning about any subject, content, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully analysis, assessing, and reconstructing it. So this in a nutshell, what it's saying is that when you have this critical thinking, what critical thinking is all about is just a mode of reasoning, is just mode of thinking about any subject, about any content, about any problem, in which this will help you to analyze something, and it will help you to access it and also reconstruct it. Believe me, you're not the one that maybe create it or innovate it. For example, if you are not the one, you just analyze it, assessing it, then you will reconstruct it into something else. So this is what critical thinking is all about. So you can just look at something, for example, and say, this is not how this is supposed to be. Let's just remodel it. Let's just reconstruct it. Let's just redesign it. But how are we going to redesign it? Then you will think. Then you bring a solution to that because you are a critical thinker. So this is what critical thinker is always doing. So you analyze something, you assess it, then you reconstruct that particular thing. So it's not about innovator, you just start innovating things. No, it's not about that. It's just you thinking about something, it's just you thinking about something critically to analyze them, to assess them, and also reconstruct them. And it's always everything. So the mode of reasoning is about everything. It can be subject, it can be content, it can be a problem. So this is what critical thinker is all about. So again, critical thinking is a self-directed, self-monitored, and corrective thinking. So all this is you that is going to do it, because this skill of critical thinking, nobody can let me say, nobody can say, okay, I'm going to teach you how to think. It's just to guide you. That's all what we are doing here. It's just for me to guide you how to start doing that, because even now after this, you can be a best critical thinker than me, because it's always self-monitored skill. It's just in you. It's inherent in you. Your brain can be faster in thinking things, in bringing solutions. The IQ, you know how IQ is. So the level of IQ is quite different from other people. So what you can think is not what I will think. You can think better than me. Someone can think better than you. And that's how it is. So it's all in you. You are the one to do it by yourself. Nobody can impose it in you. Nobody can force you to think. Nobody can, say that you must think. No, it's something in you. When you have the skills, when you know how to of the skill, then you can go ahead and start doing it on your own. That's why you see student can be better than his lecturer. Student can be better than his teacher. A mentee can be better than his mentor. That's what this critical thinking is all about, because it's a self-monitored, self-directed, and self-corrective thinking. It's in you. So if you like, you do it. If you didn't do it and that's it, you cannot do it and that's all. Nobody can force you to start doing it. So that's it. So I believe you understand what this critical thinking is all about. You see how it is and what it is, and you understand now that whenever you hear critical thinking, you understand that it's a just mode of reasoning about any subject, any content, or any problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his thinking by analyzing, assessing, and reconstructing either such subject or content or problem that he identifies. So this is what this critical thinking is all about. So again, let's move forward and see how to become a critical thinker. This is just to tell you how you're going to become a critical thinker. So number one, you need to find the exact cause. So I'm going to talk more about this. So what are you going to do? What is the exact cause? That is the exact thing that you are going to. We talk about the content, we talk about the subject, we talk about the problem. So you need to find the exact cause of that. That is the exact subject that you are going to think about, or the exact subject you are going to think about, or the exact problem you are going to think about. Find the exact cause, because you cannot, out of the blue, you cannot not just start thinking about something. No, you have to find the cause. What are you thinking about? Okay, I just look at maybe a television. I just look at it. Then I start thinking about the television. Okay, this television is supposed to have some things behind it. It's supposed to be this. No, I will start thinking critically. No, this is something like this. This is something like. So you need to find the cause. Why are you doing the thinking? Why? That's number one thing that you need to find. So another thing, you need to collect data, suggest argument. You need to collect data, suggest argument, and also suggest, you need to collect data, suggestion, and also argument. So these are the two things I just want to talk about. When you identify a problem, that is, you identify the cause. So you need to have analytical skills in you as a critical thinker. You need to have such skills. And these analytical skills that you need is always based on the facts. That is based on the facts that you have. For example, you need to have a proper questioning about something. You did a research, you did an analysis, you make a judgment on that. You also recognize the patterns. Why did it happen? You then interpret it also, and to understand more about the cause. So when you find a problem or you find the subject or content that you want to think about, you want to critically think about, please, you need to collect data about the content or about the problem or about the subject. And also you make suggestions and arguments about it. That's where the analytical skills I said comes in, when you need to conduct a research, you need to ask questions, you need to understand the patterns, you need to make a judgment also on why did this happen? If it's a problem, understand the roots of the problem. As a critical thinker, you need to understand that, because you have a lot to do. Please don't think this is just something that you can just start today. Maybe I want to solve a particular problem today. There are things that can take you 15 years. You are doing it for 15 years, just thinking on how to solve it. So it's not just something. As a critical thinker, you need to be always, like I can say, working with your pen and paper and whatever, writing a lot of things, jotting things, thinking this and that. You need to understand a lot. You need to collect data. So that's another thing that you need. So like I said, it's not something just like that. As a critical thinker, you need to follow things, you know, gradually. Don't rush, because you need to, you know, you need to turn don't leave any stone unturned. You need to check everything, you need to understand everything. So that's why you need to collect data, make suggestion and argument. Again, you have to be critical about data. As a critical thinker, please, when we say data, we're not talking about MTN data or Airtel data. We're talking about information. So any information about that problem or about that course or about that content that you are thinking or you are trying to think about or to make a critical thinking about, please be very critical about data, about information. Any information that will help you, please get that information. Please get that information. Make sure you have the information. Again, confirm significance. Anything that is significant to that course that you are, dealing with, please confirm it. Make sure you confirm it. Please don't just anything that comes to you, any information, you add it to your thinking. Please don't do that. Make sure you confirm that. Please make sure you did that. Then you conclude. Of course, as a critical thinker, you are allowed to make a conclusion. After collecting all the data, after collecting all the informations, you have all the data with you, you are allowed to make a conclusion. And that conclusion that you make based on the information you have, whatever you did, you are not wrong about the information. Don't worry. Any conclusion you make is okay, because you already collected the data, you critically analyze the data, you confirm the significance of every data, then of course you make the conclusion. So a critical thinker, let me say this to you, from the, if you look at it from the Islamic perspective of this critical thinker that we are talking about is just the mujahidun or mujtahid. That's all. That's the people we are talking about. They are the critical thinker, because they are the one that make analogical deduction based on the two sources of, or primary sources of Sharia that we have. That is Quran and Hadith. Then based on that, they make their analogical deduction. So that's why you see Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that whenever the mujtahid make analogical deduction, whenever they make a judgment on something, if they are wrong, they will be rewarded with one reward. If they are right with what they did, they will have two, rewards based on that. So you see, it is something that even Islamically, when you have that reasoning, like I said, because before you have that, before you make that judgment, make sure you understand the cost, like we talk about. You collect the data, you critically analyze, you confirm the significance, then you make your conclusion. And that's how it happens. That's how it is. So even now in our Western world, or in our contemporary world as it is, in your own profession, when you did that, any judgment you make is okay. Any judgment you made based on what you did, you are okay in that. So you are a biological student. Even when you are a student, you started thinking about something, or about a fungi, or about anything. Then you collect data, you collect sample. Maybe it took you years or 2 years or 3 years. When you make your findings, you approach your professor or whoever it is, and you tell him that this is your finding, and you make a conclusion that this is the cause of this. If he never made such, research that you did, definitely he has no other alternative than to confirm and affirm what you have done. So this is what we want. We want people to be creative, to be critical thinkers, so that they can find things and they can make conclusion based on what they have, studied, and based on the data they have learned. So this is it. And also, when you make a conclusion, then you present or you communicate it. So you see, that why in what I said, after you analyze the fungi, or you make your solution, whatever it is, you approach your professor or you communicate with the world. Okay, I'm so person. I made a research on this, and my findings on this is this. Based on the data I research, this is this is this. Based on the research I made, this is this is this. This is all what these mujahideen are doing. All these mujtahidun, sorry, not mujahideen, all these mujtahidun. This is what they have been doing. Whenever they bring any rule that they made, they have reason behind it. They will back it up with their Quran or Hadith based on their understanding. That's how it is. You too, whatever you did, back it up with something and make sure you have a reason behind your conclusion. So communicate. Please, whenever you make a research, please don't hide it. Just communicate. Someone will correct you. Someone will say you are wrong. Don't worry. That will not stop you from doing it again. If you didn't communicate it, who will know you did it? It's after you died, when they open your book, they saw it. And maybe you are right, but there are a lot of questions that need to be asked. And you are not there to answer the questions. How do you think we are going to do? So please, any research, anything that you made your research, you made your critical thinking about it, please communicate it with people. Don't wait for anybody. You don't need anybody to approve it. In as much as you believe in yourself, I'll talk about the best practices at the end of it. Please communicate it with people. Don't be afraid. Just come out and say your mind. This is what you have done. Back it up with your research. It's not your own opinion. It's based on what you have done. Don't be afraid of anything or anybody. Just say it. If you are wrong, you are not the first person to be wrong. If you are right, then you will improve. If you've been corrected, then you correct it. So this is what you should understand. Please, you communicate. So let's talk about the level of critical thinking. So we have the levels of this critical thinking. The number one of this level that we have is creating. So you have to be creative. You have to be very creative, because critical thinking, take note, critical thinking and creative thinking are different. I don't want to talk more about that, but understand this. We are talking about critical thinking, not creative thinking. So please, you should understand that, so that you will not get confused on the run. So there are two different things about it. So we're talking about creating. Yeah, you have to be creating. This has to do with constructing, constructing things, maybe inventing things, innovating things, designing things. You have to be that creative. You have to think, you have to be that in you. You have to have it in you. You have to do evaluation. So this is the second level after creating, because in creating, that's where you innovate the idea, that's where you bring the cause, that's where you get the subject, that's where you get the content. So that's how the creativity is all about. You look at something, then you think of how that thing is going to be reconstructed or remodernized. Please just think of that. Then after that, you evaluate it. So after you create it, then you start evaluating it. You start looking at it, how it is going to happen when you did what you are thinking of. So you need to do that. Then another level is after evaluating, then you analyze. So this is where you structure. This is where you organize. This is where you plan. This is where you integrate. Anything you need, this is where you put it. Because in this analyzing stage is where you are going to get all the facts, is where you are going to get all the data, is where you are going to analyze all the data, and is where you are going to do a lot of work. So after this analyzation, then the next thing you are going to do, you are going to apply what you have analyzed. You are going to start applying. So take note, sometimes after your analyzation, when you apply it will not solve what you are thinking. It will not bring what you are expecting. So you need to go back again and analyze it again, or you need to go back and evaluate it again. If you want to change the course, definitely you need to go back to level 1 and change it again. So you see the levels are just going one after the other. You get the subject or idea or problem, then you evaluate it, you analyze it, then you apply it. Then after applying it, then you understand it. So this is where you are going to interpret it. This is where you are going to, if you like, you need to compare it with other solutions or with other things, and you are going to also summarize it at this stage of understanding. So after that, then you are going to remember it. So this remembering, it all has to do with renaming the idea or renaming the solution or renaming what you have done, so that you give it the name, or you kind of give it a title so that you are done with it. Just title it and you are done with the solution, or you are done with what you think, and you move forward after you critically analyze it. So these are the levels and that you need to follow whenever you want to become a critical thinker. You need to follow these levels one after the other. So don't forget this, please. We have creating, evaluating, analyzing, applying, understanding, and remembering. Okay, so now we're going to talk about problem solving, and I can see we have less than 5 minutes to go. So if you have a question, let's entertain some question related to what we have discussed. I think when we come back, then we start with problem solving, because we are going to take a recess of 10 minutes. So we come back after 10 minutes. Use the same link and rejoin so that we continue with the link again. So please, if you have a question, you can drop your question in the chat. Please drop your question in the chat. If you have any question, you drop your question in the chat. Based on what we have done so far in critical thinking, when we come back, we'll talk about problem solving, and then we conclude and call it a day. So please, if you have a question, drop your question in the chat. I will read it out loud, then I'll respond to it, inshallah. Okay. So if you have a question, you can ask your question. I'm listening. Okay, someone is asking difference between analyzing and evaluating. Okay, in evaluating stage, you are checking. That's where you investigate about what you have created. That's where you investigate it. That's where you criticize it. If there is any criticism, that's where you did that. You make all the hypotheses in it. Maybe this will bring this, no, this will do this, no, this will do that. That's where, when you are evaluating what you have, you are going to think about. So that evaluating. So for the analyzing, this is where you are going to do the main work, because this is where you are going to get the data. This is where you are going to analyze the data. This is where you are going to bring whatever you need to do to make a judgment. Is where you are going to structure the idea, to outline everything. That's where you are going to organize a lot in this analyzing stage, because after this analyzing stage is just to implement what you have created. So in analyzing stage, you are organizing, you are structuring, you are making everything, because you are done with evaluating. Now you are analyzing, you are collecting the data, you are making the judgment, you are doing whatever you want to do. Okay, for example, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to create maybe a 5-wheelbarrow, not 4 wheels or whatever. So if it is 5 wheels barrow that I'm going to create, okay, this is in analyzing stage. So then you move to apply, then you apply what you have done to see whether it's going to work or not. So that's it. Okay, someone is asking about, I can see you are asking about critical and creativity. That what you ask, critical and creativity. Okay, yeah, the difference between the two is that when you are creative, a creative thinker, what can we call critical thinker in Hausa? I told you in Hausa muna kiran su mujtahidi kawai aka ake kiran su masu ijtihadi, because critical thinking is that's the name of it, so I think that's what you can call it. So this critical thinker and creativity, when we talk about creative, because there are creative thinkers and also there are critical thinkers. So creative thinkers are only bringing the idea. That's all what they can. They can only create the idea. That's all what they are doing. They cannot create how the idea is going to implement, and they cannot implement the idea. So a critical thinker is the only person that can implement the idea. He's the only person that can do that. While creative thinker will only create idea. That's one thing. That's one of the different about the two. That's why we see at the level of critical thinker, we have creativity. So when you look at that, creativity is just a part of critical thinker, because a critical thinker must be creative. So if you are just a creative person, then you are just a creative person. You are not a critical thinker. But critical thinker is something more than that. Yeah. So yeah, I answered this question that said how we can call it in Hausa. So I think that's the name we can give it. But if anybody has any name that you think is kind of but to me that's who they are, because they think outside the box based on the fact that they have with them. Thank you for this presentation. My question is that please, if you are invited to a pre-test like that of okay, please, we are coming back. Just copy this. Let me copy it and paste it after we come back. I'm copying it, so I'll paste it when we come back. I'll respond to you. So we'll take 5-10 minutes. We resume by okay. So now we are going to understand the problem solving. What problem solving is all about. But before then, let's ask this question: what is problem? That is, what is a problem? That's the question you need to know. What is a problem? Because if you don't understand what problem is all about, then uh, bringing the solution to a problem will be very difficult to you when you didn't understand what problem is all about. So please, if you have, let me just ask you this question. I'm throwing to every one of you. Please, what is, just answer it and just say it if you like. What is a problem? What do you understand by problem? Please, I'm listening. Please let me know. I'm listening, please. If you have any suggestion, please drop it in the chat. Let's see. What is a problem? What do you understand by a problem? Whenever you hear a problem, what is a problem? I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening. What is a problem? Nobody. Okay. So a problem can be three things. It can be something that shouldn't have happened, but had happened. That's number one thing. It's something that the thing shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't. It doesn't supposed to happen, but it already happened. That's a problem. Or it can be something that should have happened, but did not happen. It's something that's supposed to happen. That thing's supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. Then it's a problem. For example, we are expecting rainfall, but we didn't see rainfall. Then it's a problem. So, or it's something that particular thing shouldn't have happened, but it had happened. Where there is a flooding, idan aka samu ambaliya, it shouldn't have happened, but it has happened. Then it's a problem. Or something that should have happened, but it didn't happen. Maybe then about a misal rainfall, so it's also a problem. Or something that had happened, but did not fulfill the goals expected from it. It can be the goals or the need. So that's another thing. These are the three reasons why what is problem, or these are the three definition of that can make something to be a problem. So this last one that I said is something that there's something already happened, but it did not fulfill the goals or the need. So it's a problem. Maybe you bring a palliative, maybe 10,000 bags of rice, while over millions of people comes for it. Even if you share that 10,000 bags of rice, it didn't fulfill. the needs, it didn't fulfill the goals, then it's a problem. So there are three things that you should understand whenever you hear a problem. And of course we have we have a lot of different problems, like current problem, inherent problem, hidden problem. We also have a lot of different types of problem, but please understand these three definition of problem. Number one, something that shouldn't have happened but had happened, or something that should have happened but did not happen, or something that happened but did not fulfill the goals or the need. So all these are what problem is. So let's talk about the problem again. Let's just understand it, what problem solving is, because now we understand what problem is. But what problem solving is: problem solving can be seen as committing to an action or judgment after evaluating the fact, the data, or possible learning from a situation. So it's just for you, you commit to an action or judgment. Committing to an action or judgment. Please understand this. This problem solving is not a critical thinking. Please understand this, because now you are committing to an action, and or you are committing to a judgment which you already evaluate the fact, the data, and the possible learning from a situation. This fact, this evaluating of facts, data, possible learning from a situation, all this you have done them under critical thinking. So now you are committing to a particular action towards solving a particular problem. So please understand what this problem solving is all about. Is you committing to an action or judgment. Committing to an action or judgment. Okay, you are going to do this. This is what you are going to create after doing everything. For example, you are creating USB charger. So you started manufacturing or producing USB charger. That's committing to an action. That's problem solving. What are you solving? Maybe you are solving the, maybe inefficiency, or you are solving the, how can we say it? Maybe we don't have enough USB chargers. Then you are solving that problem. You are bringing enough or more USB charger to the community. So committing to that action of producing such USB charger is the problem solving. Please understand this. So this is what it's all about. So please understand what problem solving, and don't merge it together with critical thinking. So how you can become a problem solver: one, you need to solve different kinds of non-familiar problems in both conventional and innovative ways. So if you want to become a problem solver, you need to start solving problems that are known and those that are not known. There are problems that everybody knows them and everybody knows their solutions. So please start solving them. That's the conventional problems. Start solving such problems. For example, people used to dump refuse maybe within the area or within. How can you bring solution to that so that people will stop dumping such in the area? Maybe you provided a dustbin, you provided a place where they can put it, something like that. Start with solving problem that is known, solving problem that the solution is known to everybody. It's just people are not doing it. Then you also solve problems that are innovative. The solutions are innovative. So you can create solution to such problems also. So please understand this. So these are the ways. If you want to become that, you need to start this. There are a lot of problems. Then you need to start solving them. So that's how you are going to start creating your mind. Then you solve the ones that have non-solution and the one that does it. And also the second thing is you need to start identifying and ask significant questions that clarify various points of view and lead to better solutions. So if you want to become a problem solver, you need to start identifying and ask significant questions. Ask questions, and such questions should give you the answer to what better solutions. There are things that maybe you don't know the solutions. Maybe if you can think about the solution, you need to ask expert about it. For example, now if you are a programmer, you want to create a software that has to do with health sector, you need to ask doctors, you need to ask people that are in health sector. You can't just go ahead, and start creating idea which you don't know how to do that. Maybe you are creating a robot that will maybe be serve as a consultant to people, ask when they ask them, when they give them their situation, their health condition, then the bot will maybe suggest medicine to them or something like that. You need to ask medical doctors about that. So you need to start identifying and ask significant questions if you want to become a problem solver. So that way, when you have a problem that you want to solve, sometimes you need to go to your professor, you need to go to your doctor, you need to go to your lecturer and ask him more about it so that he will guide you, you will understand it, and it will help you a lot. So please, these are the two things. I just put them together, but they are not the levels. We are going to talk about the levels that you want to follow whenever you want to become a problem solver. So the levels that you want to you need to follow are as follows. Number one, you need to clarify. You need to clarify. You need to expatiate. That's you need to you know uh, identify your desire. You need to identify the goals that you want to achieve based on the problem you identified. So please, you need to do that. You need to understand that, okay, now this is the problem. So you need to gather all data that you need about that problem. That way you need to ask questions, you need to understand that again. So after that, now then you need to start, you need to, after the clarification, you need to ideate. You need to ideate, you need to create idea about that. Here you need to start creating a lot of solutions, different solution. Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Just you don't just bring only one solutions. You need to create a lot of different solutions, and each solution can be the solution to the problem, maybe, because now you are just brainstorming, you are just like drafting, you are just creating things, you are not creating an idea to the solution of the problem. So you don't know what the idea will be, maybe after you develop it, or maybe you can develop it and at the end of the day it will not work. You need to come back and pick another one out of the one you listed. So please, you need to understand this under this ideating. In this, you need to it's just a continuous process, because in under this ideating process, you can create a solution, but after a while, maybe after some days or after some years, you realize that the solution is not the absolute solution. So you need to create another solution also towards that. That's why you are seeing a lot of updating, a lot of versions. You see, maybe WhatsApp, they are always updating WhatsApp, they are updating Instagram, they are updating Facebook. It's just this state of ideating. When they are ideating a lot of, they are creating a lot of solution towards different things. So you too, you need to start doing that, because it's a continuous process. It's endless process. This ideate process is endless. You need to keep creating solutions. You need to keep towards that problem that you identified. Another thing is develop. So after you ideate, then you develop. Now you are moving to a problem solving stage. Now this is the stage where you are going to focus on evaluating the ideas you generated above. So you focus on that. You focus on the ideas you identify under the above stage of ideating. So that's it. So after you develop it, then you implement. So now you need to start implementing. So in this implementation, you need to implement it to the fullest, because take note, in this implementation stage, there are a lot of things. After you develop the solution of the idea you created above, you develop, then now you need to apply what you have developed. So this is where a lot of people stop it. This is where a lot of people leave it. This is where a lot of people quit. Please don't quit at this stage. When you implement and the solution and the problem is not gone, and that idea that you develop is not the end, is not the solution, please, please don't feel anything. Go back to ideate stage, bring another solution, come back to develop it and implement again. That's how you need to do it. Please understand all these stages. It's only clarify that you cannot go back to it, because when you identify the problem, you need to understand it to the fullest. inside that clarification stage. So immediately after that clarification stage, after you collected the data, after you asked question, you did all what you want on that in that clarification stage, you move to ideating stage. So that where you start developing, you creating just suggestion all the solution that you think will solve the problem you clarify. Then you developed the solution. Pick it one after the other and implement. Anyone that work is okay. If it didn't work, go back and pick another one and implement it again. Please don't quit after implementation. This is one of the crucial stage, which I believe a lot of people will leave it after that. So these are the only 4 stages. As you can see, these are the only 4 stages that we have in problem solving. When you clarify, you ideate, you develop, you implement. That's all what we have in this stage. So there is no much in it. So that why you cannot get confused in problem solving. Once you identify the problem, you understand the problem, then you ideate, then you develop and you implement. If it didn't work, go back to ideate, develop, implement. Go back to ideate, develop, implement. And if you are done with that problem, if you like, go again, bring another problem again, create the solution on that problem and continue. Please, there are lots of problems. There are lots of problems. Just pick anyone you want. Even within your department, there are lots of problems. It can be maybe the handout is too costly. People cannot afford it. You know where to get cheaper handout for people. There are this, there are this, there is no any. There are lots of problems. There are lots of problems within your profession. People within your profession doesn't understand this. They are not using this software. They are not using this. They are not using this skill. People in developed country are using this, while people in your course in Nigeria are not using this. How can you bring that to Nigeria so that people in Nigeria can adopt it and start using it? All these are brainstorming, are thinking. You need to problems you need to think up, and you bring the solution to such problem and you implement the solution. So now let's talk about the best practices. So I just give the best practice that I think is better for anybody that want to become this critical thinker and also problem solver. Please do not be a creative thinker, rather be a critical thinker. So I said what I said before again, because someone asked, of course, what is the difference between creative and critical thinker? So thinking. So you see, as a creative thinker, like I told you, you are just creating the ideas. You are just generating ideas. You are generating ideas. Why critical thinker is analyzing the ideas. And also you as a critical thinker, you're not making judgment. You're not making conclusion. As a creative thinker, you are not making conclusion. Creative thinkers are not making conclusion. It's only critical thinkers that are making judgment and conclusion. So you are a non-judgmental person. As a creative thinker, you can make a decision because you didn't analyze it. You didn't do a lot. It's just a critical thinker that can do that. So don't become a creative thinker, someone that will just, you are full of ideas when you were asked, yeah, I think if you do this, this can be this. There are a lot of people, if you sit with them, they can give you thousands of ideas. So they are just creative thinkers. They can give you thousands of ideas. But if you ask them, have you ever tried any? They will tell you, no, I never. So these are the people that they are always condemning what some people are doing. They never try everything. So if you listen to them, they can spoil your day and they can spoil your life. So this creative thing, and they are the people that we have in our society. Most of the people that we have are creative thinkers. They have a lot of ideas, full ideas. So they are only on clarified stage. So, but if you ask them, have you implemented? They didn't what? They didn't ideate, they didn't develop, they didn't implement. But they have a lot of, they can keep telling you this. So they are just creative thinkers. So they didn't follow the right thing. So that's why they cannot make judgment and the rest. So when you are just a creative thinker, like I said, you are just someone creating ideas. You are just creating ideas, list of ideas. That's all what who you are. You are just list creator. But when you are a critical thinker, believe me, you are making changes. You are making a lot of difference, and you are doing a lot in whatever you are thinking up. So don't be a creative thinker. Be a critical thinker. Focus on identifying problems within your profession or community. Please focus on that. Don't go and bring anything that is alien to our community or to our, maybe if you like, maybe to your profession or something like that. If you want to explore your profession, is better. So think of any problem or anything that you want to identify. Please start with yourself, with your community, with your profession, if you like, so that you can, bring solution to that. It's something that is a best practice. Now, as a student, look at within your faculty, within the courses you are studying, just pick one topic. I have a post on that on my Facebook page. I did that if you go back to your handouts as a graduate, there are lots of topics that if you pick that topic and exploit that topic, the topic can change your life. We all have such in our syllabus. It's just we don't want to be a critical thinker towards that. We don't want to go back and think of that. But if you like, go back, bring all your handouts from not JS1, I said from UG1 up till the final session. Just go through it. There is one topic that if you can take that topic alone, critically analyze the topic, exploit it, believe me, that can change your life entirely. So please start it from today, because if you didn't start today, you didn't start and you never start. So think of solutions that are within your capability first. That is another best practice number 3. Think of solutions that are within your capability before reaching out for help. Please don't be such person that I saw a lot of people that create idea and solution. They will come to you and tell you that, yeah, we need 10 million naira to implement this. And these people that are saying 10 million naira, they never see 100,000 in their lives. And they were telling you they need 10 million. You look at them, what solution need 10 million naira? Why will I give you 10 million naira for a test? Because all solutions that you are going to test them. You're going to test them. So in implementation stage, nobody guarantee you that it's going to work. It can work, it might not work. So start with solutions that are within your capability first, please, so that you can be able to, if it didn't work, we can come back. If it works, then you can continue. So, but don't start with solutions that are, you must look for help to do such solution. Please, I didn't advise you on that. Do things that are within your capability. That's why I said when you look at within your profession, you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have everything. You can just go ahead and start implementing and do your things since it is your profession. But don't go and do something that you always reach for help when you want to apply a solution. A lot of times it will not work. That's why a lot of people, nobody will help them. And I saw a lot of them. And some of the ideas, they will come and tell you. If you tell them it will not work, they will not believe you because they didn't try it. But even if you try it, it will not work. You can't invest. Nobody can invest his money on something that is not tangible, something that is not, 100% assured. So please, your solution should be within your capability. So make sure you carefully follow all the above mentioned steps before moving forward. So all the levels that we mentioned, please, if you started the critical thinking, please follow all the levels. When you started the problem solving, after finishing the critical thinking, please follow the problem solving levels so that you will not miss any step and you are not going to mess it up. So so another thing is be consistent and you are free to try something new. So be consistent on one thing. When you started something, please be consistent to it, because sometimes for you to reap the fruits of anything, it will take time. So please focus on that. Please don't just quit. Focus on it. Be consistent to it. But you are free to try something new. You are free. Maybe you try, it didn't work. You are free to try something new. You are always free. So believe in yourself. That the last thing, believe in yourself that you can do it. Believe in yourself, because a lot of people are doubting themselves. So as I can see you, all of you that are here with me, please let this lecture or this webinar change your life entirely. Stop being afraid of anything. If you want to do something, just go ahead and do it. If you are corrected, nobody is above correction. Nobody has the monopoly of knowledge. So don't worry about that. Just try it, share it, communicate it with people, tell people what you know. Let them people know who you are. It's not like you are bragging. No, what you know, what you understand, tell people, communicate it with people. That's how it is. Believe in yourself. We are not perfect and nobody is. So that's how it works. So please believe in yourself and you can do it when you believe yourself, because it's only when you believe in yourself that you can do it. So if you have a question, please, this is where I'm going to draw the curtain. If you have a question, please ask your question so that I will respond to it, because we have less than 7 minutes. Okay, we have 7 minutes to go. So if you have a question, you ask your questions. If you don't have a question, then we can call it a day. So I'm recording the class, the webinar. I'm going to share it with you, but it can be tomorrow or maybe uh tonight or next tomorrow, but I will definitely share the recording with you. So if you have a question, please drop your questions, please. If you have a questions, please drop your question. Okay, so please, if you have a question, you ask. You are free to ask question. If you don't have a question, then we can call it a day. I wish you all the best and see you in my next webinar. Do you have any question, please? Yeah, I will share the slides with you also, inshallah, though I don't use to share my slides because I don't want anybody to go and hold another lecture with my slide. That's what some people are doing. That's why I stopped sharing my slides. But maybe I will share it with you, maybe. But it's good, maybe. No, I will share the video. I will not share the slides. I'm sorry. I'll only share the video so that if you want to take a note or make your notes, the slide will be there in the video so you can see whatever you want to see there. But I'll not share the slide itself. Yeah, sorry for that. I'll not do that for you. So thank you so much. I think this is where we are going to stop. Thank you so much. And uh yeah, when you are a critical thinker, then you need to have a problem solving skills, because when you will think, then you need to create a solution to what you have think critically. Yeah. So thank you so much, Muhammad. See you next time, and I wish you all the best. See you also next time. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful uh dream. So bye bye.